I think so. You are doing a great job on your blog. I've seen many articles. I also mentioned many of them in my podcast, and also on my last one. You have done a great series of articles about the new Virtual Machine Manager 2012. This would be my next question, because you said Virtual Machine Manager, you blog about it, and what is the benefit, or what do you see in this product? Because you have done many posts about it, and maybe you tell us a little bit about that.
Well, as an MVP, you have the opportunity of getting to know the products a little bit earlier than the other people, and because I am very interested in both clustering and hyper-v, and I already knew what the Virtual Machine Manager 2008 R2 was capable of. Of course, I wanted to know what was coming next. So back in February, when we had the MVP Summit in Seattle, we heard lots of new things about the new product. And I think there was a full day with presentations by the ones who created the product. And that was really a good session. And most of the sessions were repeated on the MVP, on the Management Summit in Las Vegas last March, which I also went to see. So most sessions I've seen twice.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I was able to join a company, Access for All, who are also a beta tester of the product, or an early adopter in an early adopter program. So together with Maarten Goed, you might also know from Innovatief, and one of his colleagues, we have introduced the beta product of Virtual Machine Manager, and that's how I got to know the product a little better. So I've been testing it in my lab back at Noble for quite a few weeks now, and I haven't even been able to test everything because it's such a huge product. Yes. The big thing about Virtual Machine Manager is that it will be a great window to Microsoft virtualization, and not only to Hyper-v but also to Xen Server, to vSphere, and it will be a very important product for heterogeneous virtualization environments. Of course, the term private cloud turns up with Virtual Machine Manager because it's all written. The product is made for creating your own private cloud. Even if you don't want a private cloud, you can use the product to do the same things you are used to do with the current product. If you manage your Hyper-v service, your virtual machines, and creating the templates and rolling out new machines, that's part of the product, of course, but it's much bigger than that. And the series I wrote on 2012, on the Virtual Machine Manager 2012, primarily deal with the process of creating new virtual hosts, creating a cluster from them, and all the preparations you need before you have a cluster of virtual machines, of Hyper-v hosts. So my final blog yesterday was about the final stage of creating the cluster, and I think 4, 5, 6 blogs before that were all working towards that goal. Like creating a profile, like bare metal computers, and what else? Run as accounts and profiles, all those things to make a bare metal deployment. Yeah, what's so special about 2012? Well, I said it was huge, but it is such a big product. So many new things were introduced, like storage integration. One of my first blogs on 2012 was deep storage integration.
Yes.
I explained how Microsoft is employing standards as much as possible to integrate other IT objects like storage. So instead of writing their own interface to the storage, which is almost impossible with all those different vendors, but they used a SNIA protocol called SMIS, which I explained in my blog, to actually connect to the storage platform through their own management platform, collect and discover all the information, and then even be able to create LUNs and provision LUNs and present and unpresent LUNs to the Hyper-v cluster. So storage integration is a big part. Another part is, for instance, the patch management or the remediation of cluster nodes. And now we have a terrible job of keeping all those nodes on the same footage, same cluster patches, same hyper-v patches, same security patches, etc. So cluster remediation is part of the 2012 product and will make the life of an IT administrator a lot easier. Another thing is the application virtualization. Application virtualization used to be a separate product, and now we have server application virtualization, which is which will be deployed through the channel of Virtual Machine Manager. Bare metal deployment is of course new, and all the stuff that is required for that. And that's all on top of the general features of managing Hyper-v hosts or virtualization hosts in general. And even that job is becoming easier. Yeah. There's so much streamlining in the product. And I must say the product team has done a great job in the past year, because last year we were at a summit with Microsoft, and they were asking us, what would you like? What new features do you need? Well, we've been able to supply quite a lot of ideas, but I'm surprised how many of those ideas are actually in the product now, and even more. I mean, I was really surprised to see the specs of 2012, Virtual Machine Manager 2012, when I saw it first. Yeah.
I've done a podcast lately about the Virtual Machine Manager, and I think I only scratched the surface, because there is so much in it. There are things like dynamic, I don't know how it's called, where the Virtual Machine Manager moves the VMs around for optimization. There is this power management. I don't know if you...
Yes. Well, previously, or actually currently, because the product is not ready yet, currently when you want to do movement or automatic live migration of virtual machines between the cluster nodes, you have to integrate that with Operations Manager. Yes. And you have a feature called Pro Packs, or kind of management packs, specialized management packs, which monitor the, let's say, CPU or memory, and if a host is out of CPU, it automatically moves the virtual machine, or can inform the administrator to do that manually. In 2012, we have two things. We have dynamic optimization,
that I was searching for, dynamic optimization.
It's a native part of Virtual Machine Manager, and you don't need any integration with Operations Manager to do that. The integration is still important, but for other things. But for CPU and memory, you don't need Operations Manager anymore. And also, because we are now able to control the bare metal through the BMC and the ILOs, we can switch on and off physical hosts. So if you measure the activity in the cluster and you see that lots of hosts are doing nothing, you are free as an administrator to say, well, let's shut down a couple of those hosts and save some energy.
Maybe at night or on a weekend, you don't need all the machines.
I'm not sure whether people will do that, because I believe in the VMware world there's also such an option of power management. And when I talk to them, they say, well, no, we just leave the things on, because people are not working only between 9 and 5 anymore. They work at night and the mail server has to be up, etc. So there's little chance of shutting down many machines. But I think I like the idea of dynamic optimization. So you can move around VMs. There are a couple of scales, like from basic to aggressive. So if there's only a little change, it will move the virtual machine to the other host. But you can also make that less gradual.
So this was the dynamic optimization and the power management. In my own mind, I've built this vision of maybe on weekends when nobody is working, maybe you can free some resources and save power. But I agree, it's it's hard for an administrator to automatically shut down some servers and don't have the full control. So maybe, as you say, they don't do that. Or will
there's a bit of confidence as well. If it works correctly and you're sure that the host will be back up in time, because if the virtual machines are fired up again, it has to be ready. So you don't want any delays for that.
Yeah. Okay, there is another thing that is new. That is this cloud thing. What can you tell us about the cloud, the private cloud?
I believe I wrote a short blog saying that, well, creating a cloud is dead easy. You just right-click, create cloud, and there you are.
Yes.
So yes, that's true. I told you there were so many new features in Virtual Machine Manager 2012. So this is the thing I haven't really done so much with it yet. I was too busy finding out about the features of bare metal deployment, cluster creation, etc. So I haven't scratched the surface either, like you did.
Yes.
There's so much new stuff in there. But what I've seen of it is that the basic idea behind 2012 is that you pool your resources. If you have lots of hosts with physical disk or memory or CPU power, what you do is you pool those resources together, and you say, let's say, well, those 3 hosts have, let's say, 500 gigabytes, and you pull them into a cloud.
Yeah.
And you're able to say, well, those specific administrators are allowed to manage that part of the cloud. So if you have a huge data center with lots of physical servers and resources, you can subdivide those resources and make the resources visible without you seeing the underlying hardware.
Okay.
So as a matter of fact, it's an abstraction of your physical resources, and all you give to the sub-administrator or the cloud administrator, we call them now, they can only see their own resources, the resources that they may have bought from you or they may have hired from you. If they ask for more, that you just give them more. It's the provisioning from free pools of memory or from CPU or whatever can be done very easily through the interface of Virtual Machine Manager.
Okay, and between this cloud thing and the VM, there is another thing called the service. I've learned there is the service thinking in the product. So a service is what?
Well, a service is actually a combination of resources, including an application. There's also a kind of service template you can create, and based on the template actually defines the different objects in your service. So a service is an application, but an application has to run on somewhere, has to use some resources, and those can be prepared. So if you prepare a web application, you say, well, this is a 3-tier application with a web front end, an application service, and maybe a few SQL servers.
Yeah.
You prepare those templates, so you prepare the virtual machine images for those 3 different types of virtual machines, and you also prepare an image with the application, the web application or the SQL application or whatever. There are a couple of different methods of provisioning your application. And through this service template, you can define things like capacity. If you say, well, let's start the web farm with two nodes, or two virtual machines, but it can scale up to 10 virtual machines. So if there are more users using those resources when it's rolled out, and those 2 servers cannot handle it anymore, it will automatically scale up to the maximum of 10 web servers.